Hello, hello, Instagram. Hi, Carrie, for gluten's sake. It's just connecting. So let's make sure it's going live. Anyways, I'm so excited for another interview with another traveler. Hey, Jasmine, how's it going? So I'm interviewing Jen today, and I'm so excited because she and her husband are currently traveling all over the place. Hi, how's it going, Tosh? So, yay, there's Jen. Okay, I'm going to invite her on, and we're going to talk all things gluten-free and travel. Super excited for this. It's the day of travel. Okay, it's connecting. Yay! Hi!
Hi. How's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. It's early morning here, and I was like, I gotta get up. I have my interview with Carrie.
I love it. Well, thanks
So
for
yeah.
making time in the morning.
Sure, of course. All good, all good. We are heading to Genoa today, so we had to get up
Ooh.
early to pack and stuff anyway. So it's all good. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, this is really fun. I feel like it's the day of travel. I don't know if you know Erin of Gluten Free Globetrotter, but I interviewed her earlier today. So it's just people who love traveling. So people
Hang
are.
on 1 second.
Oh, yeah,
My
sure.
connection's kind of
That's
weird.
okay.
Sorry, hold on 1 second. Then you're not coming in like all broken up. Hold on 1 second. Let me try.
Yeah. Hello, Elaine. Oops. 7 a.m. There we go. Maybe. Is that better? Is it working?
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
I can. So I was like, oh no, but I think we're good. Awesome.
I think so.
Okay. Well, just let me know if you can't hear me or something happens.
Okay, it's better now. It's touch and go with the Wi-Fi everywhere we go. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's not.
I do understand. I really do.
Yeah. Especially traveling, you know what it's like. So yeah, it's a
Yes.
little sketchy here and there, but it's all good. So thanks for your patience.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, awesome. Jasmine says she's thinking of moving to Vietnam. Cool. Okay, so let's just get started with telling people a bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Jen, and I normally live in the Boston area. But for the past almost 5 months, my husband and I have been traveling around the world. We've been to, I think, close to 15 countries now, technically. And it's been really, really fun. I'm on a gap year from work because I'm normally a Spanish teacher. And we will be coming home at the end of June, but I don't know about that we don't really want to go home. It's been so much fun. And it's been a really great learning curve and learning process for me navigating as a celiac abroad. I normally just do that at home and it's a lot easier, but with the language barrier and having to research cross contamination, things like that, it's been really fun though, and I've learned that there people want to help you, and it's been a really good experience overall. So, and thanks to Carrie for all of your guides. That's how I found so many good restaurants. So it's been really fun. It's been really good.
Good. I'm so happy to see all your travels, to just like
Thanks.
support people that are going out traveling, and showing other people that it's possible. Like on so many levels, I love what you are doing because you're not only just traveling, but you're also saying like it's possible to take a year off and make it happen. And here's how we did it. Like, let's help you. Like there is a different way to look at life. So like all kinds of levels, all kinds of things I love that you guys are doing.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long process, and it was like a whole journey for me, and I feel like I'm really more myself now than I was 2 years ago, I was so like committed to the rat race, and I was very like everything had to be in a certain order, and it was, and I couldn't color outside the lines, couldn't do anything different, and had some really good encouragement from a local close friend, and she was like, "Why not? Just go. You can do it." And I was like, "No, I can't. It's not allowed." She's, "What do you mean it's not allowed?" She's like, "Just go." I was like, "Oh, maybe I can do this." So, and then that just kind of blossomed to other things. So now I do articles for Gluten Free Living magazine. I write for their travel section once a month, and previously I never would have done that. So it's like been really, really great to just continue to like flow my creative juices and do different things that I normally would be like, no, I can't do that. No, that's not allowed. So
Yes. That is so good. And I think so good for people to hear because we're so trained, not like sometimes I speak about it and I don't mean to speak about it negatively, but I think it's just the way that society is, right? Like we're trained to follow rules and have a certain order and like this is the progression of what you do and here's how you go to college and get a job and are successful and just all the things. But it's so empowering and exciting to me to think outside the box, to live, like, as you said, like color outside the lines and go, oh my gosh, I get to do this. I can do this. Like, it's really empowering.
it's super fun. And yeah, and that has definitely been one of the best things about it. I'm just like, yeah, well, I can do this. And it comes into play in like normal everyday life because our everyday life is different from normal everyday life back home. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go hike in the Himalayas and it's going to be this many miles and we're going to stay in places with no heat. And I'm like, no, I can do it. It's going to be hard, but I can do it. So a lot of things have been really empowering about this trip, but I'm just grateful for the whole process and being able to do it. It's been the best thing we've ever done.
I
So yeah,
love that.
thank
So,
you.
so you guys are in Italy right now.
Yes, yes, we are.
And I talked to Olivia from Yum Gluten Free, and then somebody else I was talking to about Italy has become the mecca, right? Like of gluten free.
Yeah, oh my gosh, like it's crazy. And I was reading some studies about it, and in Europe, I think it's Italy and Ireland that have the largest presence of people with celiac disease. So my ancestry on my dad's side is Irish, so we went to Ireland in 2014, and I was like, oh no, I hope it'll be okay, for me to eat gluten free. It was amazing. And then I went to Italy back in 2006, 2007, and 2008, and I got diagnosed in 2009. So for 3 trips to Italy, I got to eat everything, the pizza, the gelato, the calzones, like no cares in the world. And then I got diagnosed in 2009. I was like, you know what? I'm glad I went when I did because 10 years ago, I was like, okay, well, that's it. I'm not going to be able to ever have that stuff again. But it's really changed. And now they have a large presence or a large population with celiac disease. And you can find senza glutina food everywhere. It has not been an issue for me at all. And it's been delicious. Everything has been delicious.
Yes.
So
So
yeah, it's
good.
really easy. And it's important for people to know because everyone I think is nervous, like, oh, if I can find it here, but I probably can't find it anywhere else, it's scary. And I thought that about Asia. I'm like, oh, Asia's gonna be impossible. And it wasn't. It wasn't impossible. So
Well, and
yeah.
that's the thing, like I say to people is, okay, so yes, there's only going to be 100% gluten-free restaurants in certain places, right? Like in
Right.
Asia, for example, right? Like Chiang Mai
Yes.
has one and you went multiple
Right.
times. Like there's
I did.
one.
I did
But
several times. I never got tired of
it's
it.
really delicious. So you can go every day. But then
Yeah.
also, it's like if you're somewhere where there is not an entirely gluten free restaurant and maybe you only eat at entirely gluten free restaurants, you can always find meats, you can find vegetables, you can find fruits. Like you just have to
Fruits.
get a little creative, but you're not
Yeah.
going to starve.
Yeah, and it's not, again, it's not impossible. So I think a lot of people might have that concern, especially if you do like the 100%, you only eat at 100% gluten-free restaurants and nothing else. I understand some people have to do that. I don't do that. I take a little bit of risk, but I
Yeah.
research beforehand, I ask questions, I look into their kitchen prep space and ask about how things are prepared. So I think everyone has their level of comfort, and everyone should do what they feel is appropriate for their health. So when I go to places, unless it's 100% gluten free, I will always say, hey, I ate here, it went really well, but take it with a grain of salt. Only do what you're comfortable with. If what works for me might not work for you. So, but yeah, I think on the trip overall, like out of 4 months, I think I got glutened like 2 or 3 times total. And shockingly, those were in places where they either advertised gluten-free food, or they were in a place that was really good about allergies. So I was like, really, like, come on.
That's
And then we
surprising.
I know. And then in places like Nepal, I was there for 3.5 weeks, didn't get sick at all. Thailand, I think not at all. So, and there's soy sauce and everything. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just strange. Like sometimes you think, okay, well, they say they have gluten free food, but they may not know about like cross contamination practices. It's always good to ask questions and be on top of that and to do what you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, I have so many questions and I'm sure other people do too, but I'd love for you to walk us through maybe what it took for you to get the courage to say, okay, we're going to go on this trip for 6 months. Like obviously you had this conversation with your friend, but can you kind of fill in some of the backstory of that?
Sure, absolutely. So I was teaching for about how many 5 years, and, and I'd finished my master's degree in education. And like I was saying before, like just keep doing everything that was expected of me. And I've always done that. I was a straight A student throughout all school, and I just felt like, okay, I need to do the right thing and just keep going, trucking along. We went on our honeymoon in 2016. We got married, and we did a 3-week road trip out west. We went to 7 national parks and just hiked and explored, and it was the best thing. Looking back, because my husband's sitting right here. So we had such a good time, and then we just were like, oh my gosh, how could we explore like that, but home and see to just go more things. That week, January of 2000, we were like, that'd be so cool. But then we are like, there's no way our do that. There's no way it could happen. We just kind of like forgot about it. Right? And then I asked around work, and I get a lot of really negative responses from people. They're just like, why I want to do that? It's dangerous. You wait till you retire. I'm like, I'm going to be 30 in a couple of years. I don't want to wait until I'm 65 to go travel. Just didn't understand what this distance was. And I think everyone was fearful. Like I was talking about doing something outside of the comfort zone, and they were like, no, go away. So I sat down with my colleague and told her, because she was 10 years when she was her one time, like 2017, I think. And she was like, so what do you want to do? Because you're better than this. You should be doing like other things. You have a lot of talents, and you're better than this. This just being a teacher. You could do so much more. And I was like, no, I can't. She's like, yes, you can, but we'll get there. She's like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to travel. And she's like, okay, so go travel. I'm like, oh, it's not easy. She's like, okay, well, how do you want to travel? It's like do more than just like long vacations, and I want to like a long-term travel. It was okay, take a sabbatical. Well, we looked into it, and it's not in the contract, so I can't do it. Just because it's not like there doesn't mean it's impossible. And like a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like maybe if I out it, maybe they could work something. Like I was a really good teacher. I do all of my evaluations. So I was like, go and ask, and then what they say. And then if they say no, okay, then I'll quit or something else. I'll come up with a new plan. So I was like, okay, it's just ask the question. So I went to my boss, who I really do like, and I sat him down and I said, this is what I want to do. He's like, I think it's great. I think it's only going to enhance you do as a teacher, especially if you're going to Spanish speaking countries. He's like, I have no problem with it. And I was like, could I maybe guarantee my job for when I return, so I don't have to worry, I want to come back. Like, that's my plan. Could I also say that I would have my job waiting for me when I return? He was like, I don't see why not. I'm going to ask the higher ups and I'll let you know. And then it just went through, the principal to the superintendent. And then within, I'd say, a week or so, it was like, okay, so this is good. We're verbally saying this is approved, and for that school year, because it was like June of 2017, I was like, I don't mean I'm going in like 2 months. I need more time to plan this.
Yeah.
It was for the 2018-19 school year, and they said, yeah, you could do that. So I went back for one more year, planned and prepped, and then in 2018, I packed my stuff. Then I spent the fall nannying, tutoring, substituting different districts, and then prepping for the trip and started blogging, and then reached out to Gluten Free Living magazine in November and was like, I saw your travel section. I have a lot of info on New England. Would you like articles? And they were like, yeah. And I've been around the world for 6 months. They were like, you should write about those too. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best. So then everything from there, it's just been great. So out of saving, and then my husband asked about work, and he was able to get 6 months off. So we said, okay, we're going to go January 2nd. That's going to be the start date. And we got in a plane and left for Peru. And now it's like almost 5 months later. Here we are.
Oh my gosh,
So, yeah.
I love that story. Seriously. And
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, well, it speaks to, right, when you like think outside the box, when you open yourself up to possibilities, when you have the courage to have hard conversations and be willing to say, okay, this is what I actually want. Because I think that's the other thing we're so trained is not to be okay with what you want and to say like, oh, that's silly, that's not something I should do, blah blah blah.
Can't do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. And so it was, I was still kind of clinging to the like, oh, I can't, or I think my mind was still like, side note, back of what I want to say, but like, you should do this. And she said, just take, but like my gut reaction was to argue back and say, no, no, I can't. It's not allowed. And she was like, whoa, like, you're so quick to like just say like it's not part of the plan. Like, it's okay to step outside. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to try, little by little something new. And little by little, I've been able to be more okay with just change. I've been wearing the same 4 outfits for 4 months now. I live out of a backpack. I have no home right now. All my stuff is in storage. And I'm fine with it. And me 2 years ago would have been like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. I'm so anxious. And now I'm just like, it doesn't faze me, which I think is
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh, I so relate. It's just like, well, and I think there's
yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't have clothes. I just went back to the States and I got clothes for the first time in like a year. And I've been like in Vietnam for a while now, kind of on and off, so I could collect
Right.
things, but I've just been like, meh,
Right.
I don't need it. I like, why would
Same.
I? Yeah.
Same.
And it feels so much freer than any other way that I lived back home, like,
Same. Yeah. I don't want to go shopping anymore. I'm like, oh, the thought of like looking at all these things, I'm like, can't be bothered. Like, I stopped wearing makeup. I brought like 4 pieces of makeup to like wear on the trip. I was like, maybe I'll want to wear something out and like look kind of nice, because I normally would wear makeup like every day. Not a lot, but I would wear makeup every day. And I'm giving stuff to my parents who are here, and I'm giving them stuff to take because we're going to Spain next, and we're going to hike Camino de Santiago. So we had to lighten like our backpacks. And I found the makeup, and I was like, this hasn't been opened. Like, I just stopped wearing it, and I just stopped caring about little things. It just, normally I'd be like, oh my gosh, no, I can't go out like this. What if someone sees me? So now I'm just like, I'm just more comfortable in my own skin, and which is good. And I have my husband to thank for that too, because he's just like, why do you care? Why do you care what people think? Just be you, and that's fine. It's all good. So So that's much
Yes.
better for me too.
Yes. So it's a little glitchy, people said, but we're making it through, I think. So hopefully they still get the highlights. And then also, it looks like maybe
Hope so.
your friend Chelsea from high school. Do you have a friend Chelsea from high school? She just said
I
forever. She's
do.
on, and she said forever and continuously inspired by my high school pal.
Oh, Chels, thank you, Chels. That's so nice. Her and I went to London together in high school, and then we went to Europe together a couple years later. Yeah, she was. I was just talking about her with my mom yesterday, and how much fun that we had in London, and on our trips together. She's great. She's a mom of two boys, and she still loves to travel. She's a wonderful person. So that's so nice. Thank you, Chelsea.
So fun. So I love that you're
Yeah,
like, okay, I'm this completely different version of myself, but I'm really comfortable with who I
yeah,
am. And like, I'm going to go do this
yeah.
thing that's so different, and obviously you have supportive people that are cheering you on in some fashion. Probably naysayers too. I mean, they come around as well.
They do.
I mean, they
It's
do,
gonna
but
happen. Yeah.
yeah, but so you spoke a little bit to not wanting to go back, but can you talk about like what the process is for like you only have a month left? Is that true?
Sure. Yeah, we only have about a month left. And I just realized it could have been another Chelsea that just chatted. So if it's the other Chelsea, I love you to pieces. I have two close friends in high school named Chelsea, and I'm starting to think that this was Chelsea Clark. So if it is, sending you big hugs and thank you. She's also wonderful. So yeah, I was like, oh no, what if she's like, it's not that Chelsea, it's a different Chelsea. Chelsea, I see you. I know you. So thank you. So yeah, so we're gonna head back mid June. We don't have a specific date. We have to fly back to Orlando, Florida, close to where my parents live. My Most of our stuff that we like didn't want to put in storage is in my parents' house. So we have to fly back there and drive that up South Carolina where my husband's parents are, where my car is. So we'll do that. And then we're going to drive up the East Coast back to Boston. We live in Peabody normally, so like kind of by Salem where the witches are.
Okay.
Um, so we have to do that and get our stuff out of storage by July 1st so we don't have to pay for the next month. I mean, they will prorate it, but we'd like to have our stuff out of it. And then eventually we have to drive up to Vermont to get my husband's car, which is at his grandparents' house. So it's complicated. And then in between now and then, we have to find a place to live because we gave up our rented apartment. We have a couple ideas, but we haven't done anything with that. And then my husband goes back to work like July 8th. And then I have to figure out what I'm doing for next year, going back to my school or doing something else. I don't know. Right now, my plan is to just go back to my school, but I'm just going to accept and say, hey, you know what? Just going to see what happens and let it be. And I'm not going to worry about it. And yeah, and then get back to what I guess used to be normal life. And I think we're going to have some serious reverse culture shock. It's going to be like some really, really, I think it's just going to be hard. And I also think it's going to be hard not spending like every minute with my husband. And normally he works and I work, and we have about 3 hours in the evening to see each other on weekdays. And now we're like together all the time. And that's going to be an adjustment too, to get back
Yeah.
to just being like, oh, see you later. Bye. Miss you. so,
Totally.
so we'll see.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So you have been to 15 countries, is that what you said?
Technically, I think it's 15. I can count them out: Peru, Chile, Argentina, New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia, Thailand, Hong Kong, Nepal, uh, Croatia, Italy, Switzerland, and then technically Bosnia Herzegovina, Slovenia, Singapore. Oh, and then Vatican City. So I guess some of them we were like there for a little bit. So I was like, I'm counting them, whatever. like, but but yeah, so it's been really fun. I think the core of it, like the most time, has been I think the total number is going to be about 12 or 13.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot. Yeah, and our
Awesome.
last stop is Spain, which is where we're heading on Monday,
Oh, okay.
and hoping to do a portion of the northern route of the Camino de Santiago, and then head to Madrid, which is where I studied in college, and see my friends, and hopefully see the lady that I lived with when I was there, and then back to the States. Don't
Wow.
want to think about that yet. Yeah,
Whirlwind.
and it's weird because this is like our new normal. Like this
Yeah.
is what we do now, so it's going to be weird to go back to not doing that anymore. So
Yes.
so yeah.
So, what advice would you give to somebody that hears your story, that's watching now or watches it later, and that's like, oh my gosh, I want to do that, but I'm terrified? Like maybe you of 2 years ago that was like, nope, can't do that. That's impossible. Like, like whatever those fears or those thoughts, like what would you tell that person?
So I would tell them that it's okay. First of all, take a deep breath, and to really think about what makes you get up in the morning. Like, what is your passion? What do you really want to do? And if you're not already working towards that, you should start, because it might take you a while to get to where you're really happy with, you're in the best version of yourself. It's going to take a little bit to get there. So any baby steps that you can take, or small things that you can do to just kind of encourage yourself, like, okay, yeah, this is okay. Or when things don't go your way, or when something happens and your first reaction is to be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It's just like, take a moment and say, okay, let me evaluate here. Is this really that bad? And this comes in play a lot during traveling, as I'm sure you know. Like, we were in New Zealand, and I called a car. They come, take us to the rental car place. Oh, we can arrive within your will. We can't. And I'm like, what? Hanging out. And I'm like, what do you mean? And in my head, I'm like, oh, we're not going to be able to do reservation. Oh, we do any, but it's not that bad. It's just here trip. Like, oh, let's see. And then if not, like, there's other cars. Okay. I think taking a step, just breathe, know, and you can get there. Small steps to make it to it, because if you jump in, it's too much. It's too overwhelming. I can't. But also say, have friends that do, and friends that was really, really great about me, who just kind of help me experiment. Yeah, you can do this. If it doesn't, just doesn't go well, try. Like, I used to teach, just make it up, just make it up. And I was like, make down when you lesson plan. Get up. What is this? I was just like, what's in here? Just go with your gut and go with what feels right. And then little by little, I started to do that. And by the last like couple, I would just like be like, what am Sarah to start? You just do it. And like, I could never do that. So I would say, take baby steps, have supportive friends that encourage you, and really just think about what do you want. That was the question that she asked me. What do you want? What, and that like travel. Then go do it.
Yes, I
So,
love
and
that.
also, not thank you. Nothing, especially if you're gluten free. This is going to be way too. It just takes a little bit more test, extra step, a little bit more research, but it's doable. I'm here to show you that it is, and Carrie is too, based on how many places you've been to, and now you live in Asia, and you're still doing it. So it's totally doable, and there's plenty of people in the celiac community that can attest to that.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So good. So, where can people find
Yeah.
you?
So you can find me on Instagram, 589JER. I've thought about my name or travel and changing to having like Gluten, just like might do what everybody else and self-assess is doing. This has been, I don't really feel, I'm just like no, it's for a year changing nickname my grandfather name first, and so I'm not going to. It was my father gave me when I was a kid, and it's just like a nickname that my family gives me. So I'm like, just so Jeff and I is the Nomadic Fitzpatricks and Nomadic Fitz and Fitzpatrick. It's just I will be more. So I have like a list of about and stuff I write about. It's kind of keep track of everything and a lot more stuff coming, articles on gluten-free living in the travel section, and I will be preparing one in about 2 weeks, and it'll be on Buenos Aires, Argentina, and all the great places gluten-free food there.
That's so great. I can't wait to read it.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So thank you, Carrie, for all of your support and just every day I'm like, oh, I got another, I posted another picture, and then I'm saying to my husband, I'm like, he likes my pictures and he's supportive. So thank you very much for being such a yeah, atta girl, you can do it. It's really nice, and you're such a big name in the celiac community. So I'm just like, why would she want to pay attention to little old me? And you're like, oh no, why don't I put you here? And why don't you come and have a Instagram live session? It's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So
Yes, it's
I'm very grateful. So thank you.
you are so welcome. I'm just like I'm so appreciative to connect with you. Like I love like-minded people, especially your story of like getting to the point where you are now of thinking outside the box, because we've all been there. And I'm so addicted to people that are
Yeah.
willing to see things differently and, pursue a different path and that
Yeah.
also have a love for travel. And
Yeah.
so I am so grateful to connect.
Thank you. That's great. I love it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We are going to go have our breakfast we're staying in an Airbnb, and there's a restaurant just downstairs, and the owner has a whole spread with 3 different prepackaged, and it has fresh eggs, some ham, some fruit, cappuccinos, and we're going to go do that and then take the train to Genoa. So
Oh my gosh. Have so
we're
much
going to go
fun.
start our day.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on, and I'll be in touch about more celiac stuff. And I'm sure we're gonna keep connecting, and let me know how else I can contribute.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. I'll talk to you soon.